All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fabulous at 50, a lighthearted celebration of the ISSN. I'm going to introduce our cast today, and then I will hand it over to them. So we have Gaëlle Bequet, who's from ISSN International Center in Paris, Nicole Amadori from Springer Nature, Lisa Martinsick from University of Iowa Libraries, Heather Staines from Delta Think, Susan Davis from the University at Buffalo Libraries, Sarah Hamilton, Serials and Government Documents Section, Library of Congress, Karen Ross at the US ISSN Center, Library of Congress, and Regina Reynolds from the US ISSN Center, also Library of Congress. And I will hand it over to you all.
Friends, librarians, serialists, lend me your ears. We come to celebrate and praise ISSN on its 50th birthday. Our celebration will include some history, some wordplay, you may groan, some Shakespeare, some songs, and guest appearances. We hope a good time will be had by all. Here is our cast. And in the beginning, well, now let us begin, as all good histories do. In the beginning, there was light, actually, but there were no identifiers. Who, what, same, different. Even chimps looked puzzled. Confusion ruled the land. Some example of the reigning confusion were that a patron seeking to identify the insects that were bugging them was mistakenly provided with books about the history of words. And a scholar who thought they were subscribing to the Journal of Cosmology started receiving issues of Cosmetology Today. How the library world survived until 1975 is lost to history. Many significant events happened in the US during that year, like the founding of Microsoft, the invention of the Rubik's Cube, the debut of Saturday Night Live, and the docking of US and Russian spacecraft. But most impressive of all,
Da 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 dun 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 dun.
ISSN was born in Geneva, and the ISSN International Center was born in Paris. And the ISSN family grew and grew.
As did the number of ISSNs. By 2007, as the internet spawned more and more online serials, each with an ISSN separate from the print ISSN, demand for a solution to the ISSN confusion grew loud. And so the ISSN-L was born to group all formats under one ISSN.
Hello. Don't I know you from Yield Journal Database?
You must be mistaking me for someone else.
Aren't you the Journal of International Journals?
I'm afraid not, but I do get that a lot.
The International Journal of Journals? Le Journal des Journal National?
I'm the Journal of International Journals, published in Brazil.
Didn't I ask you that already?
That other one is published in Paris.
My mistake. So confusing sometimes, but I do think we met at the Met Gala back in 2005.
I'm sorry, I'm the EISSN. I could not attend the Met Gala in 2005. I wasn't born yet. Oh, you must be thinking of my cousin PISSN. I think she attended.
Striking resemblance, but so confusing. How can I keep track of whom I've met and where and who's related to whom?
Undiscoverable, That's what you were, unfindable, though clear or blur, multi-formats that brought stress to me. How the thought of you seemed a mess to me. Never before had formats been more unconnectable in any way, and forevermore thought that's how they'd stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible. New ISSNLs were so gettable. Now these formats were connectable too. ISSNL, it saved the day, and forevermore, that's what we'll say. That's why, darling, now it's thinkable that these formats can be so linkable. Now these formats are connectable too.
Woo woo. We actually have the lyrics on a slide. Can we back up one slide so people can just see the lyrics so they can review them? Oh, these are the next one. Okay, sorry about that. Nope, back one more. It's a very professional production, folks. Nope, backwards. As the number of ISSN metadata records grew, it became necessary to share those rich records. In 1985, the first version of the portal was released as a subscription product. In 2013, ROAD was born, a freely available subset of records for scholarly open access journals. Then in 2018, the public ISSN portal was launched, providing free access to core metadata. The portal now provides information about indexing, keeper's registry, archiving, and links to Wikidata and other resources. The long and winding road. Can we get the lyric slide? I was going to read off the lyric slide. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. I'll start it again. The long and winding road shows access to more. 12 years ago appeared. You've seen that road before. It always leads me here. Scholarly records, resources infinite that can enlighten the day. With access made more clear, useful for today. Why are you standing there? Let road show the way. So still this leads me back, the directory road brought understanding here only 12 years ago. No need for waiting here, road can show you more. Many times I've sought research and many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried. So still this leads me back. The directory road brought understanding here only 12 years ago. No need for waiting here. Road can show you more.
Okay. After 50 busy and successful years, it's definitely time to celebrate. ISSN centers continue to be established around the globe. Currently, there are 96 centers, including centers on every continent, except the one primarily inhabited by penguins. However, maybe they will get a center someday. You never know. Centers on each continent have sent greetings. And here we are from down below, New Zealand, Namibia, Africa, Italy, ciao bella, Canada, Glacier National Park. I got to get there someday. And Tokyo, over in Asia. Look at that beautiful architecture. Argentina, South America, hola. And even the penguins want to get in on the action. I don't know how they did this, but they are clever little birds. Okie doke. Moving on, we have some special party guests. Over its years, the identifier family grew and grew to give ISSN lots of relatives. Some have been invited to the party to help ISSN celebrate. They have each been invited to say a few words.
Happy birthday, ISSN, from one of the originals, the ISBN. Born in 1970, we've grown from our original 10 digits to today's 13 digits, and we're still working hard. Don't call us legacies, call us oldies but goodies. From your old friend, the ISBN, wishing you 50 more record-breaking years.
Happy birthday from one persistent identifier to another. Isn't it great to be used for articles, images, publications too? How do you like this slogan? Find it, cite it, forever. Ever like Everest. Forever sounds so futuristic. Do you think we have a future in space?
Oh, maybe we have. Good to see you, DOI, and good to see you, ISBN, and congratulations, ISSN. It's great being, ISNI and being in the identifier club with a long-term member like yourself. Don't you hate it when you are confused with someone else? I really like helping people and organizations to be unique. It's like the song says, it had to be you and only you. Long live identifiers and ISSN.
And I'm Orchid. I come with a bouquet of greetings and good wishes. My identifier is blossoming in the academic community where multiple Camilla Smiths, Rose Rogers, Basil Millers, Lily Lewises, Daisy Joneses, and bunches of other scholars are uniquely identified. Bouquets of congratulations and best wishes for 50 more blooming years.
I'm Roar. Born in 2009 at Pitapalooza in Dublin, Ireland. I'm roaring to help you celebrate 50 years of ISSN. My main role is to identify research organizations. It's beastly when organizations are misidentified. Congratulations to the king of identifiers. We take pride in your achievements. And yes, this mask actually came from that event. It's vintage.
This is a good time to announce a new arrival expected any day now. ISSN H. The newest member of the ISSN family will meet a much anticipated need, connecting earlier and later titles over time with one unique ISSN. We are all so excited about welcoming this newest family member. Stay tuned for the birth announcement. And if you wish to send a gift, you may consult the ISSN baby registry. And now our guest of honor, ISSN, will say a few words.
ISSN
Regina, if
must
you're
Right.
unmute.
speaking, you're
Hello again. Let me start again. Thank you for this unique celebration. Unique is one of my best qualities. When I was just a single digit, I never thought I'd grow up to have 7 digits and a magic X. I was so happy when siblings E and P arrived. And then there was cousin L. And soon baby H. I cannot wait for baby H. It's going to be such a joy to have everything all tied together by ISSNH. But my life has challenges, like when publishers fight over me, or I get hijacked onto another journal. That's really scary. I never want to be hijacked. But it's a great thing to be in 96 places around the world. Now, I know I'm just a dumb number, and some of my friends think I need more meaning in my life. They think that would make me a better number. They think people should be able to look at me and know where I'm from and what I stand for. But I kind of like being meaningless. It allows everyone to like me. You like me? Really, really like me, don't you? Being meaningless, well, it means a lot to me. But in fact, I really do have meaning. I'm a standard. I even have an ISO number. I am ISO 3297, and I get updated at least every 5 years. Not so long ago, I got updated. It was 2022. It's kind of like a facelift for standards. And I have lots of characters, 8. And I can handle subjects from astronomy to zoology and all in between. I even changed a sonnet from Shakespeare to describe my role now and into the future. And here it is. I will be Shakespeare's ever-fixed mark that looks on new technology and is never shaken. I will be a star to every wandering publisher to make my worth known and my digits not wrongly taken. I won't be times full, though print, electronics, and AI within time's bending sickle's compass come. I will alter not with each passing new format or fad, but I will bear it out even to the edge of space.
Hey, hi. I bring you
Hey,
greetings. Hey,
hello. Who
hey,
dares?
hello.
Who dares to crash our party?
Greetings to all from 2300. I work at the ISSN Quantum Archive. The ISSN network has expanded far beyond Earth to Proxima Centauri b, a habitable exoplanet renamed Nova Bibliotheca, a hub for interstellar knowledge exchange. The ISSN Quantum Archive stores and retrieves periodicals across space-time continua, linking planetary knowledge systems to the galactic knowledge grid. The grid will map the holographic imprints of published works across the Milky Way, ensuring that civilization, whether carbon-based, silicon-based, or energy-based, can access and preserve knowledge beyond the lifetimes of planets or species. Through gravitational wave encoding, the ISSN will become the ultimate beacon of interstellar knowledge, allowing every living form in the universe to seamlessly navigate, discover, and protect the intellectual heritage of the cosmos. For, in the vastness of space, knowledge must never be lost. It must travel on the light waves that bind the universe together.
Muted, Susan.
Susan, you're on mute.
You know, you click these things and they don't work. I was doing it so well. Sorry. So now you can see the journey out of the darkness and confusion and uncertainty and toward the light, where identifiers make it possible for both humans and machines to parse the data. And here's a little song to celebrate.
ISSN started in 75. Serials on the rise.
Print or line, we gave them a code. Tracked them wherever they go. It rhymes with code.
Splits and merges handled with care. Guidelines by the score.
We still cite us, still recognize us 50 years or more.
Journals and blogs, reviews and reports, zines and yearbooks too.
Book said, hey, can we get a tag? And we replied, that's not our bag.
Titles evolving, formats expand, nothing like before.
Will you still need us, still interlink us 50 years or more?
You went online too. If you click submit, we'll assign for you.
Records grew fast, we stayed up to speed, metadata clean.
Keepers preserve it, archiving well, keeping the long-term scene.
National centers working as one, standards at our core.
Will you still trust us, cheer on and love us 50 years or more?
Serials never bore. Ooh, 50 years wiser is to 50 more.
Do, 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 do.
Do 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 doop 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 do 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 doom doom. That's another one.
Right. And a toast for surviving cast and audience.
To ISSN.
Everyone, this has
75.
been great.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for that great presentation and celebration. We have plenty of time for questions now. I'll kick them off, and then if you have other questions, put them in the Q&A or the chat for our participants. So first off, I want to know what other celebrations of the ISSN's 50th anniversary are planned?
Well, there's going to be a great celebration in Paris at the ISSN and governing board meetings in October. Looking forward to it. I also want to mention that there will be a special issue of Serials Review that will focus on the ISSN's history and anniversary. And if any of you would like to write an article, we are looking for reminiscences or suggestions, all kinds of variety, interviews. If there's someone that you'd like to interview, please get in touch with me. We also have a co-editor, Tanya Batista. She is in Brazil. So between the two of us and our contacts, we will look forward to hearing from anyone that wants to participate. Things are moving slowly, so you haven't missed a deadline to get your articles in.
Thank you, Regina.
Sure.
I am looking for questions in the chat and in the Q&A. I'm not seeing anything yet. So I have another question for you all. Very curious, how soon will the ISSN run out of ISSNs?
Gail, do you want to answer that one?
Well,
It's my favorite question.
well, not before 2,300.
Right.
I can say that.
Yeah.
So because I think we are just starting to use ISSN starting with the 3. And of course we've just mentioned ISSN H, and ISSN H will be recognizable because it will start with a 9. All ISSN H will start with 9. And so in between the 3 the 3 and the 9s, there's
Yeah,
still, there are still a lot of ISSN to be used. So
exactly.
we are very confident that ISSN will be around in 2,300.
Yeah, it's the question that I get most often. And I like to tell people that there are a total of 9,999,999. And like as Gail said, we are only just starting the 3 millions. And yeah, that's a nice reminder. I forgot that H is going to start with 9. So we'll always know what it looks like.
Well, here's a related question that we got from the chat. When is the ISSN-H expected?
Well,
I'll say
yeah,
soon.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are testing it in our production tool at the moment. So in ISSN H, in an ISSN Plus, everything is called ISSN here at the ISSN International Center. So it's a bit complicated. So ISSN Plus is the production tool that we implemented 3 years ago, and so we are still developing it and implementing ISSN H at the moment, and of course, for the public, for all our subscribers, it will be available in the portal. And that's another big project that we have. And we hope to have something to show for the celebration in Paris for the 50th anniversary, to start showing the portal. So stay tuned, and of course we will update you on ISSN H and send you a card when it's born.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll send out birth announcements.
We'll all eagerly anticipate that. Another question in the chat. What inspired you all for this semi-musical, and how many years have you been putting on this fabulous show?
Well, I want to give immense thanks to Heather, because this show was more or less conceived last year in Spokane, when there was a wonderful musical by Heather, and I complimented her. And then I said, gee, in a year from now, we want to commemorate 50th anniversary of ISSN, but I don't know. And Heather jumped in and really took this under her wing. And yes, I think we probably needed another year to practice, but sorry to mess up on the slides occasionally. I had some camera problems today, and so I'm looking at the teeniest little arrow on my screen, on my laptop screen. Anyway, I give credit.
Jump in, Regina. Regina did so much work on this, on the slides and the script, and Gail as well. We were sort of the 3 that kind of first started out. It is so hard to drive the slides and to actually be in the performance. So any nudging is not at all meant as a negative reflection on Regina. It's just to try to
Oh,
keep track, because we don't know always if we're singing a song, whether you can tell what that song is. So having the parody lyrics on the screen is a bonus. But yeah, we needed to think of something that was going to work in a Zoom format, because some of you might know or you might not know that you can't actually sing together on Zoom. It doesn't like more than one speaker at a time. So the kind folks who volunteered to sing today had to sing all by themselves. So I would definitely appreciate that. And Regina grabbing as many colleagues as she did from the Library of Congress really broadened up our participants. So thanks for that too, and everybody who participated.
Well, and for anyone who's ever attended a presentation by Regina knows that there's a bit of theatrics in all of her sessions because she introduces characters and people have a role. But you can count on, if you ever see Heather listed as an attendee at a conference, that there's going to be a musical, because they do one. She does organizes one at ERNL, and SSP, I assume, is going to have one, and there have been
Not
many
this
others.
year.
So not this year. You're too
I'm
busy.
the president. I'm the
Yeah.
president outgoing, so it's kind of, it would have been a conflict of
Yeah.
interest to have a musical, but hopefully at Charleston and ERNL again, and maybe next year
Yeah. But
in
it's
NASIG
yeah,
and
it's a nice break from the talking head format. So instead you get these voices from beyond coming in. But we gave you a little information, so you know the names of all these standards, and ISSN is a standard, and it was cited the proper standard number. So you know you have a minor takeaway, and as
we have a
next
resource
year,
slide as well.
Oh, that's
Can
right.
you forward to the resource
I put the
slide, Regina?
definitely. Oh, there we all are again. Big hand for everybody. And then here's our resources. Thank you.
perfect.
Speaking of the slides, I have given them to NASIG and they will be ultimately posted. So you haven't seen the last of them if you want to catch some of the lyrics.
Real quickly, here's something I was wondering about. Is ISSN singular or plural?
This is a long story. And it's for a lot of my US colleagues who go back a ways, because in the early ISSN standards, you know, like I said, it's facelifted at least every 5 years. There was actually a statement in the standard that ISSN was singular and plural. So for the first years of my career, I was very careful to not say ISSNs, right? And I think I trained a lot of people in concert to not say ISSNs. However, in the later, and I can't remember which standard, that statement was dropped. We realized that we were kind of fighting against gravity because it just seemed like a lot of places were publishing or were pluralizing. And so now I know some of my colleagues that have been around longer are shocked if I say ISSNs, but right now you can say it as a singular or a plural.
Very interesting. Thanks, Regina.
There's always some history. I think when you're dealing with library topics, probably any topics, there's always a little backstory that it's not as straightforward as you might think.
Well, and it's cereals after all. So
After all, this is
after all,
true.
but that's good. Thanks for that explanation, Regina,
Right,
because I
right.
always thought you used singular.
I did.
But because I go way back too. Yeah. So
One of the things that I said in my little speech about being hijacked onto another journal, that's a real thing. For anybody who's not aware, it's been a kind of a shock to me that, especially if, for example, I've recently been working on a situation where two titles, the same title, and they've glommed onto sites that were abandoned. It's almost like squatting. And so now we cannot tell if one was the original and one was a hijacker, but at this point, it looks like we have two hijacks and no original, which died before the pandemic. So hijacking is a real thing, and it's something to look out for. For people who are submitting to journals, they might think that they are submitting to a journal with a decent reputation, but in its current incarnation, it represents somebody that's been hijacked. It's kind of shocking to me.
All right, last call for questions from attendees in the chat or in the Q&A.
Oh no, I'll just mention the sort of again a situation that we had back some years ago with Ovid in particular, when they would not use like the concert record title change dates. Like they would insist that the title changed with September when it was very clear on covers, the OCLC records from, or the concert records, if you could get your hands on those in a different way, that the title change had actually happened in July. And we would go back and forth on this because, you know, in our library, we were really trying to keep the, you know, to keep the bibliographic information aligned with the coverage or holdings. So it's just like in the ILS that we're using now, which is Alma, the CZ again, and more publishers are using latest entry or latest title because they just lump everything together. And sometimes again, the coverage doesn't jive with the bibliographic dates, and you just think like, how can you not follow, you know, the standards? But there we are. So it's always an uphill climb, and we appreciate all the work that people do at the various ISSN centers to try to keep keep this keep the cats, you know, pretty well in line. Nailing jelly to the wall is another frequent statement used with trying to manage serials, but it's not it's not for the faint of heart. So I'm glad that we had the roar and all of these other strong standard characters to keep up the good work.
If I could just
Thank you.
piggyback on what you guys said, Regina and Susan, on the ISSNs. At SSP, at Society for Scholarly Publishing, we're working with a group of Ukrainian publishers. They had experience, and Gaëlle and Regina probably know more about this than I do, where some of the publications that were out of the Russia-occupied areas started to publish, but the journal teams were actually in exile in the other parts of Ukraine, and that came down to a point of contention. If Regina or Gaëlle want to say anything about that. So ISSN can easily get caught up in
Yeah, thank you for mentioning this, Eda. Actually, there was a press release maybe 1 month ago, which dealt with this matter, explaining that or stating that we had found an agreement with the National Center in Ukraine about this issue and how to deal with this issue. And so our stance on that is that actually we need to close the original record and create new records for the two titles which are in a way linked to this former title, but which are not published in the same area in Ukraine. Also, if you go to the portal and you have examples of these titles, which actually are published or are still published in the occupied territories, we actually add a public note on the history of the title to explain, you know, what happened to this title because of the conflict between the two countries.
It's always amazed me that there is a lot of background to working in an international organization where we need to take these political situations into account, or where we need to take different spellings of maybe the same word in different variations of some of the languages and codes. It is really interesting to be working with 96 centers around the world. Congratulations, ISSN. When are we going to get to 100? I'll bet you it'll be soon.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
well, normally it should be before 2030.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we will.
that's our plan. That's our plan.
All right. We will have to have another celebration when we reach 100 centers.
Yes, for sure. We'll do that.
Okay, well, any
All
more
right.
questions?
Yeah, any
Yeah.
more questions or final words from our presenters?
Ooh, final words. I want to thank everybody for helping us celebrate all the people that I recruited into the presentation, all the people that got involved in it. It was a real group effort. It takes a village. Well, this one took a small village. And thank you everybody for attending. And if you want to contact any of us, here we are.
And if you ever want to be in a musical or be involved in one, even if it's just helping to create slides or keep time, reach out to us and let us know, and we'll figure out how you can be involved.
Right, singing is not required. You can
Singing
just
is
be a
never
narrator.
singing is never required. Anyone who's singing is singing of their own free will. So want to make sure that's clear. So don't worry. And no one is required to go on stage if they do not want to.
And my kudos to all the singers, because I had to bow out of the singing aspect of things. So you all were great.
Costumes are fun. So it's, you know, I don't want to know if I
Yes.
should say optional, but most of us get into having some
I don't
kind
know.
of
Maybe I'll
costume.
keep my tiara on for the rest of the workday at work at the library.
You should.
Worth it. All right.
Thanks
Bye,
everyone
everybody.
for joining. Our next sessions begin in about 30 minutes. So we'll see you there. Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Melissa. Great job.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.